In April, I believe Patman's going to be fishing really well. A lot of people are going to catch them.
Water's, 67 degrees right now?
Right now they're in all phases.
Flooded timber, flooded brush.
3 baits I think will be a major player at this event is a Texas rig, swim jig / chatterbait, and a crankbait.
Spinnerbait, jig.
Probably flipping, possibly some square billing, and some topwater will play.
If I could catch them with a long rod and a flipping stick in my hand, that's my favorite way to do it.
Probably a Carolina rig coming into play.
I think that the weights will approximately be around 65, 68 pounds.
I'm sure the potential is going to be here for at least 20 a day.
Somewhere around 70 pounds probably.
45 to 50 pounds to win.
Not, I guess about 65, 67 pounds.
65 to 67 to win.
Maybe 62. I mean, you got Michael Yoder that's from here. He's probably going to be a hard one to beat. He knows every inch of it, I'm sure. So he'll probably be the guy everybody's gunning for.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was 1 to 3 fish over 9 pounds.
A couple, if not more, over 9-pounders that are weighed in.
Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Wright Patman Lake here in the city of Texarkana, Texas, and stop number 2 on the National Professional Fishing League. I'm Luke Duncan, and today I'm going to be joined by bass fishing legend David Dudley and bass fishing funny man Fat Cat Newton, who's going to be out on the water bringing you 6 hours of live coverage, and these guys are absolutely catching them on this hidden gem here in Northeast Texas. And Dudley, yesterday, we saw a lot of fireworks, to say the least, on the unofficial leaderboard all day, and then at the drive-through weigh-in here in Texarkana.
Yeah, it was an incredible day of watching 10 cameras live out on the lake of Wright Patman. But one thing that was so impressive about yesterday is just the sheer numbers of quality fish that were coming in. Luke, we said it all day yesterday. When you are in Texas, what can happen, right? We've seen it. They grow them
really huge.
Big.
Huge. Yes, absolutely.
Huge
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Right. So when we were watching this footage going on, the whole time me and Luke were like looking at each other behind the screen going, oh my gosh. It was like
we wanted to be out there.
It was a broken record. Just watching the cover that they're in, wrestling these big fish out of there. There's going to be somebody today, and I'm just throwing it out there. We did see a 25-pound bag yesterday, but they're coming in with a lot of weather, situations today. And, Luke, I'm going to say we're going to hear that 30-pound bag today. I really think it's going to happen. We're going to hear that 30-pound bag today. The weather that's in there today that's coming is going to trigger some of those big bass to bite. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to say there's going to be a 30-pound bag. You might be different. But.
Well, I know our leader, Keith Carson, sure thought that is a possibility. Yesterday, he talked it all day. Hey, I need a couple more bites to get to that 30-pound mark. This lake's got him. This lake's got him. We heard that at the weigh-in yesterday so many times. And what I'm looking forward to seeing today is who's going to be the first one to cross our stage with that 7-8 pound plus fish, because, like you said, in Texas, they live here. We didn't see that yesterday. So many big stringers. We had 9 stringers over 20 pounds yesterday. 15 pounds was down at the 50th place mark. Just unbelievable. But we never saw a 7-pound plus bass. I think we're going to see it today. And that weigh-in yesterday, you and I got to be sitting there side of the stage to see that was absolutely awesome. We're going to take a look back real quick at a recap video and let you guys see what you missed here in the city of Texarkana.
All right, folks, here we are, Texarkana, man, Wright Patman Lake. These boys are weighing Cold Spring mega sacks. it out, Tommy O'Neill getting it done. There you go. 19 pounds even. Let's see some of those fish. All right, here we go. Put your hands together, folks, right there. Michael Yoder right here from Texarkana. A nice 14-hour day. Show those fish off, Buck. Good job, my man. Luis Fernandez. All right, here we go. Put your hands together. Your local boy right here, Mr. Jake Chauncey. 23 even Nick Pravanazak. Does it ever get old? You met 19 pounds even. A weight of 21 pounds, 13 ounces, 21 pounds, 3 ounces. That's a 5-fish winner right there. 25 pounds even, your new leader here. Put your hands together, folks. There they are. The Boom.
Big Al McCullough was having fun yesterday at the drive-thru weigh-in, Dudley. I mean, he was. I talked to him afterwards, no voice. He screamed about so many big stringers yesterday. I don't know how he's going to do it today. I'm anxious to see. I know one thing, they're not going to ask you and I to do the weigh-in, but a lot of excitement there, as you can see, but something that we've got to address, we've got to talk about this morning. In our top 10 yesterday, we covered Mr. River Lee. Great young man, great young angler, up-and-coming Texas angler. He had a little over 22 pounds yesterday, would have been sitting in third place going into today. But we had an unfortunate situation that happened on live yesterday where he unintentionally broke a rule that he didn't realize he was breaking. His day one catch was disqualified, and you hate to see that, but it really shakes things up because he was going to be in the mix today with a camera going for the win here on Wright Patman.
Yeah, I hate the situation that happened yesterday. I've been in the game, Luke, 27 years, and I've made some dumb mistakes like that. And when I say dumb, unintentional mistakes, breaking the rules,
in the moment.
In the moment, it's just like somebody in football jumping off sides. You're like, dang, he didn't jump off side to get ahead of a block or nothing. He was just –
It's not cheating. He's breaking a rule.
He just broke a rule, and he got the flag thrown on him, and I hate the situation that's there. It will happen to probably every professional in the world, Luke, who's been at it 20 years or so. Somewhere along the line, they have made that mistake. He made a mistake yesterday, just a mistake, and I, of course, we all have a soft heart towards what he did, but I don't see him not putting his head down, tucking his tail. He had 20-plus pounds yesterday, and I feel that he could do 22 days in a row. He could save some Angler of the Year points, possibly get one of those 9,000. You can't rule him out. He's a local, so hate that it happened. I've made mistakes. People made mistakes, and good thing about it, I think he's got a good enough head on him that he can rebound.
No doubt about it. But our own Fat Cat Newton called up with River before the launch this morning, shot a little piece with him. We're going to take a look at that now and hear from River himself on how it all went down.
Hey there, Official World. What's shaking? Fat Cat Newton coming at you from Texarkana, Texas, here, Wright Patman Lake, for the National Professional Fishing League Stop Number 2, presented by Progressive Insurance. This morning, we're going to bring you some news that we don't like bringing you about a contestant, River Lee. This guy is one of our locals, right? Local favorite, went out and cracked 22 pounds. So what we're about to talk about, and I want to make this clear before I let River Lee talk. River Lee made a mistake yesterday. River Lee broke a rule. River Lee did not cheat. This was not cheating in no way, shape, or form. He simply broke a rule. But by breaking that rule and that simple misunderstanding caused him to lose his day one weight of 22 pounds. So, River, I was going to give you a chance to talk to the people at home and explain to you just the situation that happened and just tell the folks at home what went down.
Well, yesterday I was fortunate. I had a buddy, follow me, watching me fish and stuff, and it happened to be a friend of me and Michael Yoder's. Well, he was following me, and I just caught a 4-pounder, and I was just asking. I can hear him watching live, and I was just happened to ask. I said, "Hey," his name was Todd. I said, "Hey, Todd, what's Yoder got?" Just checking in on a friend, me and Yoder have been friends for years, and I just checking in on him. We travel together and everything, not thinking that was that was receiving information from a non-contestant. That was my fault. I didn't realize that rule extended out to that. So it was a mistake on my part, but me asking him that was breaking that no information rule. But I never checked up. I never used that information he gave me for an advantage. I was just simply asking just to, check in on a friend. I think I even said on live, I said, he said he had around 14 pounds, and I said, dang, he needs to get his stuff together. He needs to catch him better than that. And then I just kept fishing. It didn't change my decisions on what I made on the water. I just simply asked him, but rule's a rule, and I broke it.
Well, folks, there it is from River Lee. It's a bad thing that it happened, but I'm very glad that he's still able to go out there and still fish 2 more days to get those pounders, to get those points for AOI.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm around quality, so hopefully just go crack 20 pounds each day and try to come back and at least make a check. That'd be a heck of a story, wouldn't it?
It would be a heck of a story. River Lee, I appreciate you, man. I know this is very hard to deal with, especially for a young man like yourself, and coming into this tour and cracking them on day one at the house and having this hit you. But, man, you've been nothing but great about this. We appreciate you, and thank you for understanding this situation, and look forward to seeing what you do the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Folks, River Lee, like I said, here we are, Wright Patman Lake, city of Texarkana, at the National Professional Fishing League stop number 2, presented by Progressive.
Well, certainly an unfortunate situation for River Lee. You hate to see it, but we talked a lot about River. He came up through the high school ranks into the college ranks. This guy's got a lot of promise ahead of him in the sport of bass fishing and seems to be calm, cool, and collected this morning. You hate to see it because he's fighting for this trophy right here behind us. He's fighting for $50,000. These guys put their heart and soul into this. But an unfortunate situation. And for any of you watching at home that think, man, he's checking on his buddy. He's just checking on his buddy like he explained. Well, in our rules, it states you cannot get outside information. He had a friend there watching him that was telling him exactly what Michael Yoder had. Our anglers are not allowed to know what the other anglers have unless the contestant themselves tell, hey, Dudley, I've got 15 pounds.
Right.
Hey, Luke,
that's right.
That's the only way they're allowed to get that information. So asking an outside source. And the reason we have to have that is, what if a competitor did use that to his advantage? He's in an area with the guy leading the tournament. Hey, what's so-and-so got? Oh, he's got 20 pounds. Well, I'm going to go over there and cast where he's casting.
Right.
That is what that rule is built in to protect, to keep that from happening. But Dudley, not the only storyline today, though. River Lee, he's out there. He's going for a check now. But this weather, we talked about it yesterday. We teased it. We might not even fish today, but here we are. We're getting a full day of fishing in. But what are you seeing? What do you think about this crazy weather coming in here?
I think after seeing what they did yesterday and the lack of females, when I say females, dude, this lake is look at 50th place is a 3-pound average. So typically when you say a 3-pound fish, you're talking a big female anyways, but we're in Texas. So here's what I'm predicting is going to happen. Those females that are sitting right outside of their bed today, they're going to have wind. They're going to have rain coming in at 11 o'clock. There's getting ready to start to be some storms at around 11 o'clock. I think those big females, there's going to be a lot of triggers on them, and we're going to see what Texas is made of today. I can't see those females holding off like they did yesterday, and they're, like I said earlier, I think we're going to see our first 30-pound bag today.
Man, I hope so. I hope you're right. We're going to make a bet on that here in a little bit, just in case. I will prices right you on that and say it's going to be a 28-pound stringer. I'll already say that. But the guys are out there. We're catching them already this morning. We're seeing our Way Live app, our unofficial leaderboard. It's going crazy already. You can check that out at TNPFL.com to keep up with everything going on here at the NPFL from Wright Patman, presented by Progressive Insurance. Now, we're going to get you out on the water for some live fishing. It has been, like I said, we're seeing some fish catches come in.
I got a little help
really fun
before
day.
we go. Luke, I'm just going to tell you, I got a little help to watch his TV and to get a little bit better view. My man Daryl Lyons came through yesterday, so if you watched yesterday, yeah, I got my shades on from Daryl Lyons, and I can see everything crystal clear now.
You're seeing things better now.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. The world
they're polarized.
The world just came exposed to me. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to say I want to see you just wear those throughout the day. Don't take them off Just stick with those the rest of your fishing career, and you'll end up being something. We're going to take a quick look right now at our sponsors for the event. Hopefully they don't drop us because of Dudley's drip. We'll be back really soon with some live fishing from Wright Patman Lake in PFL Live.
All right, guys, no insurance talk on beach day.
I'm down.
Yes, please.
Don't get me wrong, I love my RV, but insuring it is such a hassle.
Same with my boat. The insurance bills are through the roof.
Be cool.
I wish I could group my insurance stuff. Like the house, the car, the RV.
Like a cluster, an insurance cluster.
Yeah, I doubt that exists.
It's a bundle! It's a bundle and it saves you money! Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive and I couldn't help it over here.
Super fun beach day, everybody.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Blue Water by TH Marine.
Brad Fuller with the National Pro Fishing League, and I'm super excited to talk to you about a new product that I just discovered through a partnership for the NPFL. It's going to benefit you. I've been a dipper of chewing tobacco for over 20 years. I have quit, started, and quit and started, and now I found a product where I don't have to quit. Let me introduce you to Fully Loaded. This product is food grade quality, but it's not tobacco. That means the nicotine that's in this is not from tobacco. It's actually called TFN, it's tobacco-free nicotine. So you still get nicotine, but it's not from tobacco. Guys, I've tried a lot of these brands and things like this before. This is as close and as real to real tobacco as you're gonna get. You get all the benefits of it, and what I like about it, they have great flavors, they have pouches, they have straight, they have long cut, and it actually dips like real dip. It comes in fully loaded, half loaded, and then the nicotine free. So you can walk yourself back and walk away from the nicotine. I love it, you're gonna love it. I want you to check them out at fullyloadedchew.com. Listen, go to the website. You can buy a can for $1 to try it. Fullyloadedchew.com, check it out.
We're going to take a look back at some highlights presented by Progressive Insurance. And the guys, a familiar scene from yesterday, Dudley. A lot of flipping, a lot of buckbrush and willow trees. We'll see plenty of that today. Sean Murphy from Kentucky, former FLW Tour pro, and he told me pretty much exclusively I'll catch him on a spinnerbait.
Yeah, the bling bling blade today, I think, is going to be a big player in a lot of these.
Over to our leader, Keith Carson.
I'll take it. Right now, I will take.
Oh, there's one. Come on, baby. Oh, it's a good one, I think. I ain't going to sling him. I'm afraid to sling him. I slung him yesterday and had issues.
When you're, what you're seeing
No
there,
monster, but I think he's a keeper.
You saw him pause before he set the hook. I talked to a lot of guys at the weigh-in daily that said, you know, these fish are spawning. And when they made that adjustment, one of our top 10 anglers, Chad Aaron, told me that yesterday. He said, man, I just started counting to like 3 before I set the hook, and I stopped losing because he said he could have had a huge day yesterday with the first 3 big fish. He lost all of them. He said, man, I started giving them some extra time, started getting them in the boat. Donnie O'Neill. Who was probably tired last night from setting the hook so much yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Progressive for bringing you the NPFL. And we are back with Douglas Chapin this morning. Wisconsin angler in the top 10.
I hear the bling bling.
You do.
I hear the bling bling.
And Dudley, you said yesterday you just think with this incoming weather, we might see more moving baits because we're going to see more wind, going to see more clouds, potentially some rain.
Yeah. I just got to believe that there's going to be a chasing bite sometime today that's going to show itself hard.
And we had some anglers yesterday put some numbers up. John Policini on a spinnerbait yesterday. We saw that a lot. But Sean Murphy at the weigh-in, one of our top 10 anglers who weighed a 20-pound bag, told me that most of his damage was done on a spinnerbait exclusively yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Sean is a great spinnerbait angler, Kentucky Lake angler.
And we're getting at that stage of the year when you get towards the back end of the spawn. When I say the spawn, meaning the back end of the bass spawn, that's when the shad spawn starts to really happen. The shad or the bait fish that'll be in the lake, then it's their turn to start spawning. And that's when these chasing baits are going to come back into play a lot more. Typically during the spawn, you're always going to want to throw lures that are slow moving. Like you want it to get in their bed and keep it in their bed a long time. It's a defensive bite. It's it's not much of a I'm hungry bite, but a defensive reaction style bite that's in it. They're going to pick it up, bring it out to bed, and just spit it back out. They're not really hungry. But as we get later into the spawn, and we're talking conditions can change any moment. Like we got a huge storm coming up at 11 o'clock is when it's supposed to start dumping and getting a lot of thunderstorms and just wind or whatever it is that's coming weather-wise. That's when it will trigger a lot of these fish that are sitting out there recouping. The big fish, the females that are just kind of sitting out, they went through a lot dropping their eggs and went through a lot of stress in their body. They're basically sitting out off the bed, just recouping. They get out and suspend, and today is the day that we could see that reaction bite come into play. But we're so close to that shad spawn that any of these spinnerbait guys today, I mean, you know as well as I do, Luke, when you start seeing those shad come in behind your spinnerbait, following it back to the boat, yeah, that gets you.
Bad things can happen in a good way.
Yes.
In that situation.
You know, you always want to, and guys, you always want to look like he just.
Could he have had a shad bump his spinnerbait right there?
Yeah.
You know, could
yeah.
definitely be the case.
It happens a lot. To give you a little better idea, that when the shad spawn, they bump each other. If you've seen carp spawning, they hit each other to knock the eggs out, so they wrap around it, you know. And when they get in behind that blade, they're actually hitting that blade because they think it's – and you'll have that blade stop. And typically if that blade stops, a lot of times that's, you know, a fish hitting your spinnerbait. You end up jerking a lot. You know, if you video somebody on a shad spawn and you watch them, you're constantly doing that sideways hook set. And, you know, it's not always a bite, but those shad will make your blades get out of rhythm, and you're just jerking at air, really. But we're getting close, man. It's anytime.
Check in on Keith Carson, yesterday's leader, who dropped 25 pounds on the scale. Seemed to be really dialed in. Talked to him at weigh-in yesterday. See how his morning's going so far. If it's anything like yesterday morning, Dudley, it's full of fireworks.
Okay. So I think
he's peeing. You can't make that up.
So that right there, like, that's a sign that they're spawning. Look at that tail. See that bloody tail and this? Now, typically fish don't get sores like this on their sides, but because of all of this woody structure, I mean, look at how nasty this stuff is. These fish are down there spawning next to the wood, and he was probably rubbing on the wood. He's got the bloody tail from being down on the bed. Pure classic sign of a spawning fish. See, number
Keith Carson
two,
dialed in, and that's why you're a live addict, Dudley. You say it all the time, but that's good stuff right there for all you NPFL live viewers at home.
Maybe
from a spawning fish master, Keith Carson.
Maybe 210. Oh yeah, look at all them bubbles in there. Yeah, that's what they need to stay alive. See that amount of bubbles like that. Ooh. So, you know,
all of our anglers,
I just threw swim jig for like,
to weigh in.
I don't know, the last 100 casts and didn't have a bite, and my very first flip I got one. So I guess flipping's still the deal. You know, there's a million reasons telling me I shouldn't be flipping up in like no water. I mean, it's like maybe a foot, not even. The bait's not even sinking, but hey, I'm just gonna listen to what the fish tell me. So
that fish language, Dudley, right there.
Time to
good
reach.
stuff from Keith Carson right there.
Tying too. I mean, this stuff is nasty. I'm doing big hops over this wood, and it's definitely fraying my line. You know, honestly, I put brand new line on yesterday, and I'll change it again tonight because braid does not last as long as many people think it does.
Interesting.
For tournament fishermen,
he's using
anyways.
braid.
Yeah.
We talked
If you're
yesterday.
if you're just out having fun, you can use it
Fluorocarbon
for a
versus
long
braid
time.
around the wood.
I feel on that.
I tell you, Palomar knot.
I don't think
100% of the time. A lot of guys like the Snell knot, but that actually rolls the hook inside the fish's mouth. So like 50% of the time, you'll hook the fish really well in the mouth, and during those times, you're like, oh wow, this is such a great knot. And then the other 50% or whatever, it actually goes straight down and hooks them in the tongue. And bass fishermen know when you hook a fish in the tongue, they die. So by using the Palomar knot, you let the gap of the hook do the work. So instead of trying to manipulate it with some special knot that makes the hook come up when you set it, just straight, and that gap right there, all the work. You know, that's all you need to do. Keep it simple.
I would say that was a bass tank breakdown that will just
right.
I mean, for the entire season. Let's just replay that for the rest of the year. That was great stuff from Keith Carson right there, who is a shallow water magician,
my line,
great sight
retying,
fisherman, loves to flip.
So perfectly, that each bait is perfect. I have to, you know, I'm all about. I'm a fast fisherman, and a lot of these fish are biting. You know, it's all reaction. And by having that bait, you know, perfectly straight and perfectly in line, and everything's symmetrical, I'm gonna get more bites.
it's amazing in fishing, listening to him, how many different opinions there are in fishing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We discussed braid versus fluorocarbon yesterday, and a lot of things in fishing you can have opinions on things, just like anything in life, but you can't be dogmatic about it, you know? You can't say that this is the only thing, this is the best, just like he was explaining there. You have some people swearing by the Snell knot, and you have some people swearing by the Palomar knot, and you're going to have arguments and discussions, you know, from now to the end of times. But listening to him break down the reasons why was pretty interesting to listen to his theory on.
Coming from a Florida flipper.
Yep, absolutely.
Flips a big weight a lot. Now we're over on Bob Burley, who entered the day in top 10 with us, finished in the 10th place. Bob actually benefited from the River Lee DQ because it means he got a camera. Otherwise, he would have been 11th place on the outside looking in, and we wouldn't have got to hang out with Mr. Burley today.
These guys have pounded this.
Bob, an Alabama angler. Sitting on 2 fish so far this morning. Does have a 4-pounder in the box.
The quality, Luke, is just, you know, typically in any lake you go to, you're like, man, if I can just, you know, I didn't get a good bite, you know. Here it's like, whoosh.
They're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good bites.
It's not like they're catching, they're really not, you know, stressing about the quality. You're not hearing that from them. You know, typically they're like, I just need a bit, you know, good quality. Everybody's like, no, pretty much if I get bit, it's going to be a decent fish. So it's pretty cool listening to them.
It's not if they get a good bite, it's when, right? And can they get them out? That's what we've seen.
Yes.
Ooh, over to Douglas Chapin, spinner baiting.
I hear the bling bling.
Wisconsin angler. We checked in with him first
Ain't as
thing
big as
this
I
morning,
thought, but it's a good
there
start.
we go.
Not bad for number 2.
Second fish in the box for Douglas. He's unofficially right now in 15th place, so that's going to move him back up into our top 10. A lot of moving and shaking on the Weigh Live unofficial leaderboard. Of course, all of these weights are guesses and inputted by these sandbaggers and liars, Dudley. So
that's right.
It will be official at the drive-through weigh-in, 3:30 p.m.
What's your guess on the weight for that?
Probably like a 3-1 maybe, 3.
Sandbaggers.
Yeah.
Douglas entering that into the Weigh Live app, though. And like I said yesterday, I had to make a speech about that at the pre-tournament briefing. We appreciate all of our anglers inputting that because it helps us keep up with the story as we go along.
I like how he went 3-1.
3-1. Yeah.
Not 3-pounder. It was 3-1. That's awesome.
When it was about a 314.
Yes. I'm going to say it's north of 3-1.
I'm just happy I'm catching fish right now. It's awesome. It's a blessing to be here.
Dudley, take a look at that color of that spinnerbait again.
Probably mess around and do this for a while, and then
that same shell cracker color, bluegill color
the bite to turn on. So I got most of my big ones yesterday. Maybe we can pick up a couple good ones doing this too.
Interesting choice of a spinnerbait. And highlighting it, Luke, he's using a dark skirt, which is a bluegill. He's throwing a shell cracker colored skirt,
but
highlighting it with a chartreuse trailer, which gives it that flash of a bluegill even more. So I can't say that I've ever tried.
I have a habit of doing that.
When I think of spinnerbait, I just think of shad.
It's a big one.
You know,
it's a big one.
Something shad-wise.
Saw that with John Policini yesterday as well.
Yep.
But they're never as big as you think they are.
Oh, I think that one was bigger than you thought it was. I'm going to say that was closer to 4. Luke, do you think, let's talk a little bit, do you think blade combos make that big a difference? What I'm saying is this. Do you think that it really matters if you have a 4.5 gold on top and a 4.5 silver follower, or, you know, or silver to gold or gold to silver? Does it really make a difference from a 3, which for you anglers is, you look at a willow tree, the smaller the number, the smaller the blade. Do you really think it makes that much difference?
Well, you know, I think the size blade matters at times just for the overall thump, I guess, the water displacement, because you've got different blade combinations. For me, it's more about what's on the back end of the blade, the lead blade, I would call whether it's a willow, Indiana, Colorado. You know, that's going to, because that affects your retrieve, how fast you can retrieve the spinnerbait. That's kind of how I've always based mine. I'm not big into gold, silver, you know, I don't really get that way. I just want it to move water depending on the water clarity where I'm at.
I got you.
What's your opinion? You've obviously got an opinion, Double D. You always do. So what? I feel like you're baiting me in right there with that.
No, I do. I think when it comes to combination colors, combination color of blades, I don't think it matters hey, I want a silver on top and gold on the back, or vice versa. But I do like the attraction of when it is definitely the shad spawn going on. At times, most of the time, I'm either throwing a 7 Willa or an 8 Willa, which is probably
big blade.
Yeah, big blades during the shad spawn are either 2 4.5s to 2 5s. I want a lot of bling. I want a lot of shad to follow my bait. I want to draw them to my bait. Now, when you are talking throwing a spinnerbait outside of the spawn, okay, outside when the shad are spawning, yes, of course, that's when you're Indianas. You're maybe just a simple Colorado willow leaf is going to come back into play, because we know the bladed jig is one of the best baits to ever change the history of this sport. And really, it's about the thump. It's, you're not seeing that much flash or that much blade. You don't have to have that big of a traction, because I'll argue with you about the bladed jig any day of the year, versus a spinnerbait. But yes, I do, like you said, I throw more Indiana blades than I do Colorado, but again, everybody's got their choice. So to narrow down the spinnerbait thing, when shad spawns on, give me a lot of bling. Give me a lot of flash.
Okay.
Give me a lot of flash. I'm not.
What about like these guys in this situation? So we're seeing these bluegill style spinnerbaits, skirt wise.
From this morning.
Are you throwing a big blade because these fish are on the bed being protective? Do you want something like that? I mean, because this is a situation we don't run into a lot.
I think, of course, bluegill are called bluegill, sungill, perch. They're called sunfish for a reason. And the hotter the weather, the hotter the temperature gets, the shallower they go, right? And we know that bluegill pester bass on the bed, right? They irritate them. They're up there wanting to get in on that nest and eat the eggs. And the two guys that we've seen throwing the spin, you know what? Think about this, Luke. That's what's so awesome about the 10 cameras. The only two people catching them on a spinnerbait is what? The deadgum bluegill.
That's right.
The bluegill spinnerbait boys. So, you know what? 27 years in this business. Hey, I'm not afraid to admit it. I will have me a bluegill spinnerbait on.
Learning.
Yeah,
we're all learning here on NPFL Live, and we're getting a look at River Lee, a little fat cat cam, boat-to-boat action. River, of course, ended our weigh-in yesterday in third place, and we've seen a piece from him this morning on his disqualification yesterday. Of course, if you're just now joining us, River received information on the water. It did not benefit him in catching more fish. It wasn't like he cheated, but he did break a rule. These anglers are not allowed to solicit information from non-competitors, and River did that yesterday. So the tournament officials DQ'd his day one weight. But he is definitely on the right deal here at Wright Patman. We saw that yesterday. Every time he set the hook, Dudley, it was a really good quality fish. He ended up with over 20 pounds yesterday. So I feel like if River can keep his composure, and it certainly seems like he's handled himself well. I was checking out his social media post. He is really taking the DQ professionally and handling himself well. The interview with Fat Cat this morning, he's really looking forward to getting back out there. So anything can happen, man. We got Bob Burley maybe right there over his shoulder as well. Crowded conditions, something we talked about a lot yesterday here at Wright Patman. A lot of these anglers fishing the same areas. And that was the overall theme from the guys I talked to at the weigh-in yesterday, Dudley. Will this lake continue to be able to put out these kind of weights? Because a lot of these guys are fishing the shallow areas. These are spawning fish. Are the fish going to replenish?
Yeah.
Will be interesting to see today.
Yeah. I think a lot of them, you got two different fish to fish for, right? We talked about it. You got spawning fish to fish for. I don't think there's many pre-spawn fish left. I feel confident in saying that. But either they're in the process of spawning or they've already spawned. I feel like a lot of the spawners got caught yesterday, right? A lot of the ones that were defensive in this color water got caught yesterday.
The easier fish,
yes,
the aggressive
yes.
fish.
So we are definitely going to see the weights drop in that regard. But I'm telling you, like I'm watching a guy right now throwing a white swim jig. You let that nastiness come in, that's going to bring in the second group of fish that can be caught, which is the post spawners, the ones that are just lethargic right now, and you bring in that weather and they're getting ready to crack their heads open. I can't wait till the the darkness comes in and this lake.
Darkness, I like that.
Darkness,
I like that.
They're going to be bringing some light to the dark with the spinner baits and bladed jigs and white jigs and everything else.
So it could be a polar opposite day from day one as far as techniques.
Yeah,
we're still seeing a lot of flipping.
Yes, I don't think it's going to be polar opposite, but look how many people were in the top 10 throwing your spinner baits, and I think it's going to be a player. I mean, you can't have that weather. I mean, yesterday was cloudy, and they still caught them. But you add in a little rain, and hey, Luke, think about it. What did we talk about yesterday?
A lot. We talked about a lot. We talked about visors. We talked about sunglasses. You're going to have to be more specific.
True that, right? But the frog.
Never played.
Gosh. To me, that looks like a Dean Rojas heaven right there.
That's right.
He's going to be taking Kermit the Frog, throwing it around, and yet we really didn't see anybody do it.
Saw James Biggs throwing it a little bit. It was his game plan going into yesterday to throw it. But, just no luck on it whatsoever. River Lee hooked up. River Lee. The Fat Cat cam.
Yeah, I didn't think that one was making it. Now, guys, we talked about this yesterday. You just watched him catch, say, a short. It was definitely a short. I'm curious to know if he's going to throw back at that same tree to try to catch that female. I confessed yesterday that I don't do that enough during the spawn. When I catch one, I'm like, cool, I got one. And then I just keep trucking, and then somebody comes behind me and catches the 5-pounder because I was too dumb to throw back in there to get that 5-pounder, the female. I'm curious to know if he's going to throw in there. It's a huge tip, guys. Don't do like DD does and keep trucking after you catch one. Give that same object 5 or 6 more flips to see if you can catch the female in right after her, right after him. Looking at the leaderboard, Donnie O'Neill, my man who stroked him yesterday, sitting on 1.
Getting our first look at my man crush today, Mr. Chad Aaron, and I from Tennessee. Hooked up.
And, of course, not what he probably wants, but
could be that buck, like you said.
Every fish, though, guys, every fish is part of a puzzle.
Non-keeper. Yeah, that fish language you're talking
right.
about. Every bite, no matter the size.
Mm-hmm. It's teaching him something.
Chad Aaron from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, which just so happens to be my hometown. Got a lot of history fishing with Chad Aaron on the good old Tennessee River. And like you mentioned, we looked at the unofficial Way Live leaderboard. And Donnie O'Neill, who put on a show for us yesterday, really struggling so far today. Only 2 bites, 2 keeper fish in the boat for estimated 3 pounds. And yesterday just lit it up for most of the day. First look today live at Donnie O'Neill. Donnie is
Fish is
keeping
so
the flipping
gun-shy
stick
now.
in his hand, just like we saw yesterday. Fishing,
Had every bait come by him.
fishing slow. Donnie yesterday talked about going behind other competitors and picking fish off behind them, even in the crowded areas. We're very fortunate, of course, Dudley, to get to see all this live coverage. You are a live addict, and the only way we can do that is by paying the bills. And we are grateful for our fine sponsors. We're going to take a look at those right now. We'll be back with more MPFL Live from Wright Patman, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Omega products are built by fishermen for fishermen. We set out to build the best vibrating jig on the market. The blending of high-end components, a detailed assembly process, and a burning desire to achieve perfection are the pillars of the Rapture bait. Nothing in life worth having comes easy. The Rapture was no different. Countless hours of testing and retesting. The result, a vibrating jig that hunts, hooks, and catches bass like no other.
All right, guys, no insurance talk on beach day.
I'm down.
Yes, please.
Don't get me wrong, I love my RV, but insuring it is such a hassle.
Same with my boat. The insurance bills are through the roof.
Be cool. I wish I could group my insurance stuff. Like the house, the car, the RV.
Like a cluster, an insurance cluster.
Yeah, I doubt that exists.
It's a bundle! It's a bundle and it saves you money! Hi, I'm Will from Progressive and I couldn't help it over here.
Super fun beach day, everybody.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Blue Water by TH Marine.
Brad Fuller with the National Pro Fishing League, and I'm super excited to talk to you about a new product that I just discovered through a partnership for the NPFL. It's going to benefit you. I've been a dipper of chewing tobacco for over 20 years. I have quit, started, and quit and started, and now I found a product where I don't have to quit. Let me introduce you to Fully Loaded. This product is food grade quality, but it's not tobacco. That means the nicotine that's in this is not from tobacco. It's actually called TFN, it's tobacco-free nicotine. So you still get nicotine, but it's not from tobacco. Guys, I've tried a lot of these brands and things like this before. This is as close and as real to real tobacco as you're gonna get. You get all the benefits of it, and what I like about it, they have great flavors, they have pouches, they have straight, they have long cut, and it actually dips like real dip. It comes in fully loaded, half loaded, and then the nicotine free. So you can walk yourself back and walk away from the nicotine. I love it, you're gonna love it. I want you to check them out at fullyloadedchew.com. Listen, go to the website. You can buy a can for $1 to try it. fullyloadedchew.com, check it out.
We are back with MPFL Live. Wright Patman here in the city of Texarkana, Texas. And all of our anglers are hoping for a fully loaded live well today, Double D, to say the very least. We saw several of those yesterday at the drive-through weigh-in with Big Al McCullough. Coming back live here with Donnie O'Neill, who yesterday was in our top 10, and we had a camera on him all day yesterday, and he put on a show for us, Dudley. So it's kind of a surprise to see a slower morning for Donnie, sitting on 2 fish so far unofficially.
I'm curious to know if he is chose, if he went to a different area today, or I don't think there, just by talking to a lot of these anglers, I don't think there's many areas that are virgin anymore, or that hasn't had somebody. The next 2 days are going to people who know how to comb over an area good, right? So yesterday was a lot of the more aggressive fish are always going to get caught in the lake the first day of the tournament, right? And it's the people who keep coming to the top are the ones who know how to comb an area. And, that means break down every willow tree to the left side of a buckbush, to the right side of a buckbush, to one side of a laydown log, to the other side of a laydown log. But so just knowing how to comb an area over, those guys are going to continue to catch them. And I'm, curious. He's moving a little bit faster today. So
look at Brandon Perkins, Tennessee angler, finished in the top 10 at Eufaula. Hooked up. Something we saw right there that we saw several times yesterday, Dudley, that fish barely hooked. When he got it over the side of the boat and came unhooked, ended up in the floor. Is that because these fish are spawning and just barely grabbing the bait when they bite it? Is that the issue there? Because we saw it so many times yesterday, I feel like.
Yeah, of course, when fish are spawning, they know something's not right, but they still have to continue to protect what's there, and they'll grab it by the tails, grab it, just barely nip at it. We talked about that yesterday, and just check bumping you. You ever hit your buddy, like in your arm, just like boom, just do a little check bump to him? That's what happens to these fish. They're just coming up warning that quote-unquote bluegill or that predator, and they just come up and put their mouth on it and be like, don't come back in this turf again. They're not eating it because they're hungry. They're just doing a check bump on them. So this time of year, you're going to get a lot of short strikes, a lot of bumps. The hook is not going to be in them as deep as it would be if they were actually eating the bait. So, yes, common theme around the spawn for sure.
Getting a look here at Mark Schilling, who also finished in our top 10 at Eufaula. So all of these guys that are double dipping in the top 10 are going to be sitting pretty in our Progressive Angler of the Year standings at the end of Wright Patman if they can maintain that top 10 position. Mark made a big surge on the final day at Eufaula to end up in that top 10, and yesterday came out swinging, third place going into today. Unofficially this morning has fallen out of the top 10, but certainly with the quality fish he's around, I'm sure by the end of the day we'll see Mark climb back up that leaderboard.
That's what's going
on. Back over to Chad Aaron now.
20 feet in 2 years.
Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
So
hometown boy.
I know who you pulling for today.
Another small one. He may keep, though.
My man went on point like a bird dog.
Chad was one of the anglers I talked to yesterday afternoon and said he lost 3 to 4 big ones in the morning. He didn't feel like they were going to make good, so he started making himself pause and then set the hook, and you saw it right there. It's going to be a keeper for Chad right there.
Oh, man.
Just under?
No. I can just makes it. Quarter inch or so.
Oh, no. That's all that matters.
That's right.
That's all that matters. Stretch.
Well, let's hope he culls that one out. Of course, by
Baby.
the end of the day, but just speaking.
Where you going, baby?
Look, AOY points.
I don't even know if that thing's. I'm gonna put 1-4.
And that would be a good guess on that.
So Chad, unofficially on the Way Live leaderboard right now is in 23rd.
You need to watch your lens.
Inputs
This
that
one right
fish.
here is just for glasses or lenses. I mean, if you ever do.
I probably will.
But I'm sure you're professional. You have your own stuff, so.
Yeah, little pockets.
Chad always willing to help a fella guy out there. First time Chad's fished on camera today. He was looking forward to that. Back to Donnie O'Neill, Mr. Hookset yesterday.
Interesting how we are in the. Of course, we've talked about the weather, but in general, the weather this year. Here we are, middle to latter part of April, and we're still seeing everybody dressed up with rain suits, and
this weather, man, has been bipolar, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something I want to see is Donnie still rocking the flops, because yesterday he was covered up head to toe, had the toes exposed though.
I know, my man just must be a Randy Blockett at heart. Doesn't want to wear tennis shoe or feet or hoop. Matt Becker's the same way. Ott Defoe is the same way.
Is he barefooted today?
I don't know if he's actually barefooted.
Our NPFL camera guy's doing the hard work out there.
But here,
see if we can get a look at those feet at some point.
But look how again Donnie was moving a little bit faster, and he's power poled down. We talk about it. I can't stress enough. And you guys are seeing this on live. Like, you're seeing it right. But when you hear us, and when I say us, you might read about an article that I put out or a YouTube video that I put out or, certain people that you may follow on social. When we say slow, Donnie is giving you slow, right?
Absolutely.
And you got to imagine and picture in your head, hey, there's a spawner in this 5-yard section, and I'm going to hit every – nook and cranny of this section, and I'm going to find out where he's spawning out. It looks that good. So when we do say slow, we mean slow.
Yes, he is. And someone that Dudley was fishing the polar opposite of that yesterday, all the way to the top of the leaderboard, Mr. Keith Carson. Check in with Keith this morning, who gave us a great breakdown earlier of his setup. Unofficially right now, Keith in 5th place.
Swimming a white jig right now. Interesting.
Came off.
Swimming a jig.
Shoot.
Dang it.
No.
Maybe you should have tried a snail knot on that swim jig.
Nope, missed him.
Damn
it.
See, that's 2 in a row. That fish is spawning.
Today.
You getting ready to.
Got her.
Crack. See how far out he was from the bed?
Yep.
Stay
That's
on,
gonna
baby.
be the female.
Stay on. Stay on.
Such a lesson right
stay
there.
on, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on.
Oof. That is definitely
Please.
the female.
That'll go 5. Choked it.
I can't wait.
It
I'm
was
going to let him talk, but I know.
absolutely choked it. Look at that.
Unreal. It was a chatterbait.
Chatterbait.
Yeah.
There we go. The bling. The bling's starting to come out a little bit, Dudley.
God, the one before it. Oh, the one before it was a good one too. Oh, geez, getting all wrapped up. That's a stud there. We're gonna put that in the big fish side. Oh, son. Oh, thanks for the tape, cameraman Rick. Fog. Oh man, I'm just cutting myself all day.
I'm gonna need a story on the tape, but it sounds like our cameraman bailed out Keith. Might have had a little injury.
Mm-hmm.
TNPFL camera crew out there doing work and taking care of these guys so they can get back to catching bass.
The interesting thing, we all just watched what transpired.
Pulling just like that.
He missed one twice, and then he caught that one. But if you notice, you have to pay attention to detail.
It's good for cuts, I think. It's how you connect with the lake.
And do you see how far out in front of that bush that particular bass came? That's what we've all seen, females sitting outside of the bed. I have a feeling the first one that he missed, the second one he missed was the male.
About 5, and lost a big one the cast before that, like back-to-back casts.
I can't prove or disprove it.
I picked up the chatter. I'm running around with it. You know, with these low water situations, there's a million things telling me like I shouldn't flip, but hey, I'm getting bit flipping too. So I'm just doing whatever my instincts tell me to do when I get to wherever I'm at. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just moving and fishing my strengths. Because in my primary area, it's just loaded with boats. There's tons of boats that came in that area. I'm just trying to get away from boats right now. You know, yeah. It's hard to do here.
As he sees one over his shoulder there, somebody kind of creeping up on him.
That's just all there is to it. Oh man, something right here. Oh, there's minnows jumping.
I love watching Keith Carson fish, man. He is so enthusiastic, loves bass fishing.
I'll make another couple casts. Looks
like we've got I'll be honest with you, Dudley. There's a lot of people that you could fish behind in shallow water and probably pick off a few fish. But if I roll in an area and see Keith Carson, the leader of the tournament, knowing how great he is at shallow water cover, I think I'm just going to go somewhere else. It's like following you down a bank with a wacky worm. I'm not going to do that.
So true. I do play that game of when I pull in an area, there are people that I respect, you know, certain,
you know what they do, right? Yeah.
Certain situations, but then there's some people that, no doubt, you look at it and you're like, yep, I'm still coming in here.
We're going to need you to post that list on your Instagram, who you respect and would follow and who you would not.
I don't think.
Dudley, I know you well enough to know that I feel like that list of who you're not afraid to follow is probably a lot longer than you've got a lot of winnings to your name to say that you pretty much catch, and you have to catch them in a crowd a lot, right?
Yeah.
Talk about, like, how do these guys, and Keith's obviously handling it well, you block it out. Is that something you just have to focus on your game and not worry about the other boats around you, or are there times that it does actually get to you?
I think in life, anything you're brought up doing, you're going to be of course, a lot more well-rounded in that area in life. But most of my career, I've been brought up in the FLW side of fishing, and where at one time we were having 275 boats, like 4 or 5 years, it was like 250 boats. Then it went to 200, and so
you're used to a crowd.
Yes, yeah, crowds don't really bother me.
Somebody else that spent some time in those FLW days, Mr. Sean Murphy from Kentucky, throwing a spinnerbait here, and Sean unofficially in second place right now on the Way Live leaderboard. Sean's sitting on 11 pounds. Actually, I just updated. Sean is in third, and Sheldon Collings, another former FLW Tour angler, sitting in second place, one of our bright young stars out here on the National Professional Fishing League. But Sean sitting on a limit, 11 pounds unofficially. And Sean told me he felt like yesterday the key to his success, he had a 20-pound stringer, and he was keying in on specific cast. So Dudley, something that we're going to key in on this morning, like Sean Murphy with that spinnerbait, is we're going to key in on getting an update from the big cat. We're going to hear from Fat Cat out on the water, NPFL, Wright Patman, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Yes? Yep. All right, Fishing World, here we are. Day number 2 at Wright Patman Lake, Texarkana, Texas. National Professional League, National Professional Fishing. Dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been a crazy morning after what I had to deal with. National Professional Fishing League's stop number 2, presented by Progressive. River Lee, man. Gosh, dude, talk about getting that young man, what he's going through. So this morning, you guys have heard the announcement of what happened to him yesterday, catching 22 pounds yesterday, and then getting that first day weight disqualified because of the ruling fragment or whatever it's called. I'm not even good with big words, but the guy, what a stand-up dude. He handled that so well. We have followed him all morning and watched him, and he's just been grinding. We saw him catch 3 fish, nothing big, but he's just still in a good mood, still positive, still feels like he's in it. He can still come out here, catch fish, get the AOI points, and do things. Now, watching what he was doing, he's running around hitting these bushes. Like, we started out in Rochelle, worked our way to Big Creek. He was just fishing the tips of these little fingers and fishing around the islands. He's fishing a small little creature bait like a structure bug, June bug.
Yeah, right under the bush,
weight.
they've got it up against the
He said he's
stalk
trying to
of the
fish a little
tree.
bit lighter than everybody else. And if he knew what Keith Carson was fishing with, he would know he's fishing a whole lot lighter than everybody else. It's crazy seeing those two different, he's going for that slow profile, and Keith wants that boom profile. So River dumped the clutch, locked the hubs, and he's running somewhere else. We're still right here in Big Creek, and if you guys are looking for a new boat, or just you don't know what kind of boat you want, you don't know what they look like, come on out to Rochelle Creek or Big Creek, and you're going to see boats sitting everywhere. From a Camus, from a Triton, from a Bass Cat to a 1987 Eagle Rogue. All the boats are out here. This place is stacked up like cordwood. Luis Fernandez, Keith Carson, Mark Pizer, Hunter Denmark. A lot of the guys that have done good, Rochelle Creek, Big Creek. This is where the big ones live. Like I said yesterday, like it's been said forever, 80% of the big fish live in 20% of the lake, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Over my left shoulder is a bridge over here. This bridge, it's been a story the whole time about here at Wright Patman, because supposedly that's where the mother lode is. That's where the Big Belly Kelly family lives over there. The guys couldn't get in there during practice because the water level was high. We had a couple guys pull the plug, let water on, and actually sink down and squeeze and get up under there. The way the water level's dropping, we've got guys going up under there, so that could be the place that they're at, because Shane Smith was saying, our boat captain, one of the locals, knows this place. He was like, when the water level stays up for a long time, within that month, those fish get zero pressure. So the tournament could be won Big Creek beyond that bridge. I don't know. Right now, we're going to dump the clutch and do some running and gunning and try to find who is doing work, because got a storm coming in. It's that low pressure system, but high pressure as far as the fishing goes. Nobody's throwing top water. We saw a river just throw the frog a little bit, but in my mind, I would have been out here just cold straight slinging that top water, making it do what it do, talking them lips and shaking them hips. But nobody's doing it, so we're going to go find somebody that's catching fish, and some of these boys are going to have the Biloxi Blues, I think, because this morning is not working like a lot of guys thought it was going to. The static electricity from the thunderstorms coming in is messing with my Luke Duncan, David Dudley, Fat Cat's going to go find some people, man. You guys stay tuned, because we're going to find some Big Belly Kellys for y'all. We gone.
Gosh.
Getting a shout out from the big cat there, Dudley. Who's scatterbrained this morning?
I
Like
just came over
he's
here
trying to
get away
blame
from
it on the
boats,
storms,
too.
but
Like,
he's
everybody came in my
always
area. I was
a little
hoping that if I
scatterbrained.
left, they'd be like, oh, well, if Keith's leaving, then I'm leaving. Maybe I can go back and pick some off there still later. So
Back over to our day
Whoa.
1 leader.
Another good one. That one's probably close to 5 too. Wow.
He really does take his time and retie after every fish.
He does.
That is definitely not me.
Okay.
I need to get better at
Good.
that.
Check my hook point. The lips are one of the most sensitive parts of your body, so if your hook point is sometimes with your fingers you can feel it like if it's rolled over a little bit, but if you run it with your lips, obviously not this direction, right? You know, you just run it.
We would like to suggest
to. It's perfect. So I got brand new 20-pound line. I throw 20 on my chatter because I don't usually make full casts with this thing. When you're pumping a bait, it's hard to pump it from a full cast away. Here, I'm gonna pull this out because I'm running into the structure. It's hard to pump it from a full cast away. So I usually just, you know, every time I cast, I'm just making 20, 30-foot pitches. Yeah, most of the bites, I actually see them bite it, or I'll see a boil or something. So, yeah. Let me get us out here and rig this up, put the trailer on.
Looking at the background there, Dudley, where Keith's at.
Man, it's crazy. That's another good.
Really dark in the background, those storms. Definitely looming.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to point out, Dudley, is we don't suggest anybody put a chatterbait in their mouth.
No.
On TNPFL Live.
Very interesting. I never thought about the lips being a sensitive part and feeling the tip of your hook with your.
Gosh, I only got like
to make sure your hook's still sharp?
Yeah. Get them anywhere. Okay.
Next level stuff this morning from Keith Carson, showing why.
Anytime you're putting a trailer on, you want to measure the distance here. So I've got the head where it's going to go, and I'm going to put my thumb where the bend of the hook goes. So I'm seeing that's about 6 ribs down. And then this has to be perfectly centered, or the bait won't run right. It'll run on the side. And depending on how the fish eats it, you may or may not miss it. And then I run this through the center, but the upper part, like the top center of the bait, perfectly centered. Come right through, slide it up. And it'll be like that. And I always check it. Running exactly the way it should.
And that is why we watch live fishing right there.
Doing it. Let's keep going. Keep pumping this thing. I wonder if I hit that. Again. They have this technique where they fish like one tree.
And Dudley, this is all free. Just free content. Can you imagine?
To me, it seems kind of crazy.
No price of admission here to watch Keith Carson break it down like
move
that.
Really fast.
I see you over here taking notes.
Yeah.
But man,
yeah. That's all I've been sitting here thinking is you've won a lot of money, but had you watched Keith Carson sooner,
I would have.
Could you have won some more money?
I would have won more money. You hear me being quiet right now? That's because, yeah.
You borrowed my pen and you're over here taking notes? I saw you sketching out that trailer over there on that.
Never thought about the lip. Checking you're checking the tips of your hooks.
Here's the deal. I feel like I'm going to get a picture from you within the next 2 weeks with a treble hook stuck through your bottom lip.
If you see me with cut lips on my social media the next few months, you're going to be like, dang it, Dudley, quit checking your hooks.
It's Keith Carson's fault.
It's going to be slashed up like I went through a briar patch running from the cops or something.
With frosted tips. Of course, Keith starting the day, the top of our leaderboard. But let's take a look at our unofficial leaderboard right now. Coming in from the Way Live app, you can find that at TNPFL.com for the event here at Wright Patman, presented by Progressive. And, of course, all of these weights unofficial until they get these bass to Texarkana to bring them to Al McCullough at the drive-through weigh-in. But a familiar name up top, Jesse Millsaps, a guy we covered a lot down at Eufaula. He's having a great morning, has a bass almost 6 pounds, 4 fish for 13-13 right now. Sheldon Collings one of our young pros in the field, has so much promise, making a big jump today. Kentucky's Sean Murphy, who started the day with us in our top 10, still hanging in there. Nick Provanizak. We haven't seen Nick this morning. He's been kind of quiet. I think he's out of cell coverage. But Nick, top 10. Do you follow? Josh Ray from Arkansas in 5th. Derek Blake from Tennessee in 6th. Robbie Frazier from Alabama making a move into the top 10. Douglas Chapin still hanging in the top 10. John Policini, an angler that we covered yesterday. And then Keith Carson in 10th. But I don't believe Keith has updated his weight just yet on the Weigh Live app. Keith, will have a talk about that, the draft through weigh-in, buddy. I know you're focused on catching all those big ones and not hooking your lips, but we're going to need you to update the Weigh Live app. Really neat that we can keep up with these guys as they go along, as long as they update that info. Of course, everything is unofficial. I have to make sure to say that over and over and over until we get to the 3:30 weigh-in. So now we're going to take a look, Dudley, at our amazing sponsors that make all this possible so you guys can consume all of this MPFL live action. And we will be back very soon with more MPFL Live from Wright Patman.
Hey there, Fisher World, what's shaking? Fat Cat Newton coming at you from Sling Blades here in Texarkana, Texas, with the owner, Kevin. Kevin's going to give us some details on how the things work here, and just tell us what's shaking, brother.
We have 8 axe throwing lanes available to throw in. Ages 5 and up can throw, so kids are able to come. We've been growing like crazy, and we're having to extend more. So we're going to have 3 more lanes here, so we'll have 11 lanes available for everybody. You can bring food, drinks in as well. I am a BYOB facility. There's no liquor involved. It's just beer and wine.
Family friendly though, Bobby, so don't get crazy because, hey, Kevin will put it on you. Hey. Well, you can show me how to throw these axes so we can show the folks at home. Oh, bullseye. Now what happens when you get a bullseye here at Sling Blades?
Bullseye here, right behind you, there's a bell. You're gonna ring this bell. You ring that bullseye bell, one of my coaches will come out here and take a picture of you in front of your bullseye. When you guys come back, if you look at this back wall, all these pictures of people that hit bullseyes since they've been here. So,
all right, Kevin, step out of the danger zone. Let's see what I got.
All right.
All right, so I'm just at one step. Where's the line at? As long as I don't cross that, I'm good. Oh, there it is. Gotcha. All right, here we go. And just follow through, right? Just follow through. Boom, baby. I'm kind of axe connoisseur, if y'all didn't know. So I'm like Huck Finn, or what's the blue ox. Who was the guy with the blue ox? The dude that chopped down? Never mind. It would have been good if somebody knew what I was talking about. How about the underhand? Gonna release it low? Oh! Sling Blades, Texarkana, Texas. Come check my boy Kevin out. Family friendly, good times, good people, and PFL. Stop number 2, Wright Patman Lake, Texarkana.
Kevin, Sling Blades, Texas.
So one of the best things about Sling Blades, you can come here and throw axes all night. You can have a good time with your family and friends. But if you had a bad day on the water, if Bobby was out there and cut you off and caught your 5-pounder or whatever, you can come here and pretend that's Bobby and, you want to cut me off and you want to get my 5-pounder? You can come here and do that, but just don't be so loud. Just be more nice, because I'm worked up. Yeah, man, come hit that thing and pretend it's Bobby that stole your 5-pounder. Hey there, Fisher World, what's shaking? Fat Cat Newton coming at you from Sling Blades here in Texarkana, Texas, with the owner, Kevin. Kevin's going to give us some details.
Omega products are built by fishermen for fishermen. We set out to build the best vibrating jig on the market. The blending of high-end components, a detailed assembly process, and a burning desire to achieve perfection are the pillars of the Rapture bait. Nothing in life worth having comes easy. The Rapture was no different. Countless hours of testing and retesting. The result, a vibrating jig that hunts, hooks, and catches bass like no other.
All right, guys, no insurance talk on beach day.
I'm down.
Yes, please.
Don't get me wrong, I love my RV, but insuring it is such a hassle.
Same with my boat. The insurance bills are through the roof.
Be cool.
I wish I could group my insurance stuff. Like the house, the car, the RV.
Like a cluster, an insurance cluster.
Yeah, I doubt that exists.
It's a bundle! It's a bundle and it saves you money! Hi, I'm Will from Progressive and I couldn't help it over here.
Super fun beach day, everybody.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Blue Water by TH Marine.
Brad Fuller with the National Pro Fishing League, and I'm super excited to talk to you about a new product that I just discovered through a partnership for the NPFL. It's going to benefit you. I've been a dipper of chewing tobacco for over 20 years. I have quit, started, and quit and started, and now I found a product where I don't have to quit. Let me introduce you to Fully Loaded. This product is food grade quality, but it's not tobacco. That means the nicotine that's in this is not from tobacco. It's actually called TFN, it's tobacco-free nicotine. So you still get nicotine, but it's not from tobacco. Guys, I've tried a lot of these brands and things like this before. This is as close and as real to real tobacco as you're gonna get. You get all the benefits of it, and what I like about it, they have great flavors, they have pouches, they have straight, they have long cut, and it actually dips like real dip. It comes in fully loaded, half loaded, and then the nicotine free. So you can walk yourself back and walk away from the nicotine. I love it, you're gonna love it. I want you to check them out at fullyloadedchew.com. Listen, go to the website. You can buy a can for $1 to try it. Fullyloadedchew.com, check it out.
In April, I believe Patman's going to be fishing really well. A lot of people are going to catch them.
Water's, what, 67 degrees right now?
Right now they're in all phases.
Flooded timber, flooded brush.
3 baits I think will be a major player at this event is a Texas rig, swim jig / chatterbait, and a crankbait.
Spinnerbait, jig.
Probably flipping, possibly some square billing, and some topwater will play.
If I could catch them with a long rod and a flipping stick in my hand, that's my favorite way to do it.
Probably a Carolina rig coming into play.
I think that the weights will approximately be around 65, 68 pounds.
I'm sure the potential is going to be here for at least 20 a day.
Somewhere around 70 pounds probably. 45 to 50 pounds to win.
Not, I guess about 65, 67 pounds. 65 to 67 to win.
Maybe 62. I mean, you got Michael Yoder that's from here. He's probably going to be a hard one to beat. He knows every inch of it, I'm sure. So he'll probably be the guy everybody's gunning for.
It wouldn't surprise me if there was 1 to 3 fish over 9 pounds.
A couple, if not more, over 9-pounders that are weighed in.
Hey there, Fishing World.